everyone. I just thought I would do something kind of fun and show you some tricks I learned when I used to do a lot of tracking. We called it sign cutting. You're actually looking to see any disturbances that somebody makes as they pass through an area. But mainly we're talking about tracks that people leave. So you could call it tracking or sign cutting. We worked in some pretty remote areas, but sometimes little tips prove to be very helpful. I'm only going to do a couple of tips in each one of these. We'll get into tactical tracking and how to determine how many people are in a group and how to gain time on a group by jumping ahead and things like that. How to determine age of tracks, whether the person or people were moving during the day or night, things like that. But some of the tips hopefully be helpful to law enforcement if they're trying to follow tracks of somebody that's trying to purposely get away. And one of the techniques that people might use is to walk backwards across areas where you would normally look for their tracks. So I'm going to talk about how to determine and figure out if somebody's walking backwards or forwards. Of course, the easiest way is to follow the tracks out for a while, no more than 20, 30 yards, because most people are not going to walk backwards for very far, maybe across a road or something like that where they think you're going to look for their tracks. But you can actually tell from the tracks themselves whether somebody's walking forward or backward. So let's talk about how you can figure out if somebody's walking forward or backwards. We're going to be using this track right here. This is a tennis shoe that I wore, and I'm going to show you some features of this. I put it in some pretty easy terrain so it'll be easy to see. But the first thing you want to notice, if somebody's walking forward, the heel is going to be very distinct. But the toe, the circle part there, you can see is indistinct and fluffy, and you can see where the person kind of dragged their foot forward. That's because the heel comes straight up when you're walking and leaves a nice sharp print, and the toe is going to kind of drag a little bit as you move forward. Now in rougher terrain like this, it's a little tougher to see, but even on this you can see that heel print is very sharp and crisp, and at the toe you can see where it looks like they just dragged a little bit. But in this picture you can see the person's walking backwards because it's just the opposite. The toe is sharp, but if you look back at the heel, it's very indistinct. They're walking backwards, the toe comes up first, and it's not quite as distinct as walking forward because it's a little inconvenient to walk backwards, but you can clearly see that heel print is pretty washed out because they're walking backwards. Here you can see a person's walking backwards. Just look at all these tracks and you can see that the toe is really sharp. Here again you see the toe is really sharp, but the heel is indistinct. And also you can notice that the footprints are close together because as people walk backwards, the step is going to be shorter. So in conclusion and summary, walking forward, heel is going to be sharp, toe is going to be blurry, as in this photo. And if they're walking backward, the toe is going to be sharp, heel is going to be blurry. Now it takes a lot of years to develop your eye to be able to see this, but the more you practice, the better you become. And in a situation where there's not a professional tracker, this tip might help you out. Yeah, thanks for watching. If you like these little tips, leave me a note and maybe we'll do some more on some of the other topics I mentioned before and teach you a few things about sign cutting. Anyway, have a great day and thanks for watching.